What is up, guys? It's also BEEZYBRAH685 and we're back again with another one. Shout out to all the supporters, this, that and the other. Shout out to everyone who's back, you know, giving me views over the past couple of months. You know, likes, this, that and the other, feedback, criticism, etc. You know what I mean? It means a lot. We most recently, a couple of days ago, hit the 1K subbing mark. So yeah, shout out to everyone. You know, this is a team effort. I couldn't have done it for everyone. But yeah, without further ado, we're just gonna get straight into it. So this is 21 District, the reply. Now everyone's saying it's a Onefour reply. Everyone's saying it's a Greater West reply or 27th District reply. You know, we'll see. What do I know about it? You know, before I get into it, I honestly didn't want to do this video. It's not that I didn't want to do it, it's just I didn't want to be a part of this whole drama. That if anyone's from, you know, Sydney or Western Sydney would know, it's been popping off recently, you know what I mean? It's nothing new. If you're not from Western Sydney, you'll know this has been going back and forth for over a decade. Like 15 years, even probably before that, you know what I mean? Ever since I've become a teenager, this has always been around. There's nothing new. It's just, it goes up and down, you know. A new generation comes, starts up again. Older generation, they get kids, they leave a bit, you know. Everyone falls off, numbers fall off. But yeah, supposedly this is the reply to Onefour's The Message. And you know, we'll just get into it. As I was trying to allude to what I just said before, is I want to keep it as unbiased as possible. And I'm just going to be speaking on the positives that I see as much as I can. You know what I mean? I not only try to do this with you know, these guys, but I try to do it with most of the artists I do cover. I try to just point out the positives, and if I do say negatives, I say it so like we can laugh about it, you know what I mean? So it's not too tense. Also, it's like constructive criticism, because reality is, if your audience can't even speak openly about the things they don't like or the things they think, you know, they don't really agree with, how are you ever going to grow, you know what I mean? It's like a product. If people didn't like this phone, but yet they can't say what they don't like because of repercussions or consequences, reality is people are just not going to buy it because, you know what I mean? And you're never going to know why, because you don't have that feedback. So I mean, it's good. You just, like what I'm saying is that constructive criticism. You need to say it in a particular way where you're coming across not as wrong, but you know what I mean? But yeah, with that being said, I do want to cover this because I stood back and I looked at it, and you know, it is true, even though there is tension between different areas or different groups, or you know, a little bit different nationalities, not really, it's more so areas. I did like the fact that it does showcase Western Sydney culture to a degree. I'm not saying this is the culture, but it is a particular culture. How would I say it? Is it personalized, or like, you know, when you think everywhere where I go outside of Sydney, if you say you're from Western Sydney, you don't even need to say it. It's just the way you talk, the way you act, the way you dress. Also, like your national, you know, your ethnic background. It all plays in a role in it. But yeah, so that's what I meant when I said I stood back. So when I stood back, and I was trying to find the positives with this feud, you know what I mean? This reoccurrence of drama or, you know, constant conflict, you know what I mean? And I try to look at it as a positive. So I looked at it as like, the boys on either side are showcasing, you know, the life, the reality of it all. Whether or not I agree with it, whether or not, you know, this, that and the other, what I can do is I can relate to it. I do understand it to a degree, because one, I've grown up in the area. You know, everyone who's grown up who's somewhat Pacific Islander, or, you know, lived a certain type of way in a certain type of area, certain type of generation, you would either lived it yourself or seen it yourself, or know people who've gone through, I'm not saying everything they talk about, but, you know, little bits and pieces of what they talk about. Not even just 21 District, but Onefour, Hefts, Pistapudenzo, you know what I mean? You can sort of tell the real from the real, the fake from the fake, and this, that and the other. Yeah, so what I was just trying to get at is non-bias. I wanted to keep this platform as non-biased as possible. I wanted to showcase, you know, all different aspects of the various sides of, you know, the conflict, and just try to give like a different perspective. than like that side or this side, you know what I mean? I want someone that's not necessarily, you know, leans toward one or the other. But yeah, so I'm just gonna focus strictly on the music as possible. I'm gonna, like, what I like to do is talk about the background, talk about what maybe led them to here. I don't know, I'm just rambling. A lot of people say these aren't reactions, but honestly, I like documentaries, so I like to say like the backstories, or try to break down the meanings of things, try to talk about like the potential mindset of it all. I'm not saying I'm right. If anything, I'm like not even claiming that I'm right. I'm just trying to give a different perspective. Trying to give more information for the viewers to think about, because in my opinion, generally, majority of people that do watch these things are young and naive, or people that aren't necessarily from Western Sydney. You know what I mean? People who, they see it and they might take it for facts, or they see it and, you know, they don't necessarily know what they're looking at, in terms of they don't understand it all. You know, how these people got to where they are, the past stories, the backstories, how, you know, that society's culture or that area's culture comes into play, certain lingos, certain dress styles, you know, just all of that comes into play, into understanding the whole message of, you know, the video, the lyrics, the visuals, and just, you know, how all the different replies, you might say, or the different how would I say, songs relate to each other, and how they interlock and create an overall picture of, I would say at the moment, but at the same time it's gone back last year, the year before, and then it goes back even further than that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just gonna get into it, bro. But yeah, shout out to the boys, to be honest. Shout out to 21 District, shout out to the innerwest boys, shout out to all of them. You know, besides the areas, besides, you know, your individual beefs or the collective beefs, you know, besides all that, it is good to see that they've came out with some music. They've created something to showcase their area, their side of the story or the stories. There's also, like what I said before in my other thing with Piss so they've given their area an anthem. Like, not to say they haven't had anthems, because everyone from Western Sydney knows 21 used to make a lot of songs. Even like Nasa Nova's area, they made a lot, they made a lot of decent songs. And then you go back even further to, you know, 28 or 08, and then, you know, all the way up to like 2011, there was a lot of music coming out through those areas. So, you know what I mean? Everyone would know. I try to explain for the people that aren't from Western Sydney or the outsiders, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's good because like I seen on one of the snaps, all the younger gen, they've been blasting the music harder. I seen one at a party, that one off. You know, and it's just good, even in your own particular area, if you see people doing positive stuff and, you know, talking about the certain things that you might be going through, or that's reality of your particular area or your generation, your age group, or something that you can relate to, or something that makes you feel a sense of belonging, sense of unity within your circle, your cell, or your boys, your area, just everything, you know what I mean? And it's done what Onefour did, and that's draw everyone together. And I'm pretty sure this song done the same, you know what I mean? Yeah, without further ado, we'll just get into it. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, fuck, this guy talks too much, but honestly, that's like the main reason why I do these things. I don't just want to sit here and like do a react, even though technically it's supposed to be a react. I like talking about things, you know. I wanted to do a podcast and talk about, you know, go more in depth into everything, you know, not just this and that feud, just even further, you know what I mean, like more. But you know, without further ado, let's get into it. Shout out to the boys. This is 21 District, The Reply. If you haven't gone to see it, go check it out. This, that, and the other. Go follow all the news pages, innerwest and all of that, 2770. You get a full perspective, full image of either side, you know what I mean? I'm not saying you get all the picture, but you get a bigger picture. F9. So we're just gonna get straight into it. Like I said, this is probably the 4th time. 21 District, The Reply. Shout out to all the boys, shout out to everyone who's a part of this, from the editors to the rappers, just to the right hand men and videographers, etc, etc. Let's go.
Police are investigating links to say there were 5 drive-by shootings in the city overnight after the gauntlet was
Hold on, I want to start that again. I'll be straight up, I've seen this video how many times, bro. Like, honestly, I didn't want to give them the views, but it's very catchy. And, I wanted to do my research. And now, I'll be straight up, I've probably listened to it, I ain't even lying, like 100 times, the video clip. Just trying to break down all the meanings, trying to understand the visuals, you know what I mean? And it is a vibe, you know what I mean? The start, listen, the start feels like a movie.
there were 5 drive-by shootings in the city overnight after the gauntlet was
Like this. Feels like an MTV movie with the news articles.
Police are investigating links to say there were 5 drive-by shootings in the city overnight after the gauntlet was
I like this part because it feels like an MTV movie, you know what I mean? When it starts off with like news articles or news snippets, you know what I mean? Also, what I noticed when I was constantly going back and forth is there's actually police at this video shoot. Now, I'm pretty sure they didn't call them there, the boys. They probably knew there was a particular, something was going on. They came down to see what was going on, making sure there's no, everything's goody. You know what I mean? They probably stayed there for the majority of the shoot to make sure nothing pops off. Everything they do a video shoot, this, that, and the other. So, yeah.
Police are investigating links to say there were 5 drive-by shootings in the city.
So if you see here, right in the first frame, pretty much, the first 2 frames, you see 3 officers, I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure there's another one, there's an older guy. So you see them there. I only just realized that now in this frame, but I seen him in another frame, which I was gonna pull it up on, but I just seen it now, so I'll pull it up on this one. This is what I was talking about, like that vibe. It's like, to me, when I kept listening to it, and when I had my earphones blasting, because I really need to get into that vibe, it feels like a rally cry, you know what I mean? A call to war, like all the boys, like, it's like anticipation is building, you know what I mean? Even that frame, like, when you see all the boys come, and it's just, the angle is particular, you know what I mean? It's going up at them, the smoke's coming, the light, there's a particular light shining from the back of them, you know what I mean? Like, whoever shot this is pretty good. And all the boys go like this. It reminds me of the fucking Green Street Hooligans, all those the European hooligans, like from England and all the way to where Russia, where they all do that. That looks bad, and they got the smoke. Who else back in the day, the 08 days, used to watch like hooligan brawls on YT? I swear I used to always, For those of you who don't know, like the 2011, everyone, Everyone from these ways know 2011, what happened in 2011. You can't deny that that's facts. Inner West used to always take troops, but at the same time, Greater West used to always take troops, so it goes back. What I was trying to reiterate with that is that it is true, you know what I mean, what he's saying. If you don't know, go check out 2011, you know, yeah. Oh yeah, I heard a lot of people saying like he's biting from hooligan hefts, no effect. But if you're from Greater Western Sydney, you would know not that wording, no effect, or that phrase has been around for ages. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. So the no effect phrase, a lot of people have been saying that they beat this from hooligan hefts. But in reality, if you're from Western Sydney, and I'm not too sure if it's just Western Sydney, or Sydney, I'm not too sure if other places of Australia said it ages ago. I know everyone says it now, but I mean, that no effect phrase has been around for ages within Western Sydney. You know, you hear it a lot of times when you're playing football, someone hits you and you're like, fine, no effect, bro. Pretty much means what it means, like, you had no effect on them, or you did no damage, or, you know, that was nothing pretty much, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, is that all you got, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Right there, did you see it? Did you pick it up? So where was it? So right there, you got two police officers, coppers, boys in blue, whatever you want to call them. So this guy, I would say he's the more senior guy, he's got the hat on. He looks a bit older, looks a bit more senior. So yeah, you got 2 more, 3 more, maybe 4 more in the back, in the center of the screen. You know, this is, I know a lot of people in the UK like saying how did they get away with what they get away? The police do know all these things that are happening, as in, you know, the feuds, they do watch the internet, they do know when the video shoots have been shot, you know, because obviously people call up. Generally in Sydney, what they do is they come around, they make sure, you know, they might run some IDs, they check, you know, no one's committing any crimes, like, you know, generally people are just shooting the video clip. They might be having a few drinks, but that's all. They might hang around to make sure everything goes smoothly, this, that, and the other. Afterwards they just leave. That's just how it is, you know what I mean? There's nothing in my eyes really wrong with 20 people standing at a park or somewhere shooting a video clip, listening to some music, you know what I mean? Yeah, what country do you want to live in if you can't even do that? But yeah, we'll just continue with that. That's just something I picked up on. So I think now this is more getting into the title, so the reply. So a lot of people were saying they stole a lot of lines from Onefours, you know, from the scoreboard to this and that. But if you're doing a reply, it's like a rebuttal. You're gonna remind the audience of what they said, then you're gonna do your reply and, you know, how you're taking it. So we pretty much bring up, what was it? You said 21 what, 21 got. How are we can't let that slide or something like that, along those lines. And then he said like suicide or something. So yeah. Yeah, there. So he says, you know, talking about their fallen people, their fallen muscles, fallen doggos, you know, that's suicide, right? So to me, the escalation and the tension is rising, you know what I mean? Whether or not it's just lyrics or whether or not it's reality, you know, everyone knows what it really is. Sure, there's a lot of people saying it's good because it's creating more music, but in reality, these are people's lives that are affected, that do get touched. You know, when this video stops, when the music stops, to them, it doesn't. It's an everyday, you know, got to worry about where you go. You know, whether or not you check into where you are, put it on your live or showcase where you are, because people can pick up where you are, then they can pull up and then, you know what I mean? Yeah, you live a particular way, lifestyle, it can catch up with you. You know, it comes with certain consequences. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. I was trying to think, like, if you're from Western Sydney, you'd know Onefour's not the first people to start using knives and blades. It's been around for a while, you know what I mean? And I'm not too sure if it goes further, but I know around 08 and all that, people were getting stabbed. You know, it was iffy if you wanted to get into all in broad because you knew there'd probably be at least one guy for knife. And then it changed everyone's mindset, like, if they're going to bring a knife, this was the mindset, we need to bring a knife just in case. So then what you'd have is everyone else would bring a knife. And then, you know, that would just reaffirm what they believe, because it's just like vice versa. They'd be thinking, they might bring knives, so we got to bring. So then now you got everyone bringing knives. You know what I mean? I remember one particular incident. I was about 13 or so, and my school had an altercation, or one person in particular had an altercation with another person that was from a different school. And it, you know how it escalates. Everyone has each other's backs. Gets bigger and bigger. Now school on school. Then everyone starts calling out other people from different schools, different areas, and it just gets bigger. Got to the point where we're at a particular station in Western Suburbs. There's about a good 50 to 100 people on either particular side. Anyway, when the people went to cross the road for it to start, undercovers came out, everyone left. Anyway, I'll skip the whole thing. So where we were standing at a particular bus stop, we all left, and there was about 20 knives on the floor. You know, those black little mini ones. My mate, he had a big bread cutting on with the teeth. I was mocking that guy. I was like, what are you gonna do? You gotta run up and fucking start grabbing someone's arm, cutting off. But yeah, that was, I laugh about it now, but you know, even then we're laughing about it because we're young and dumb and naive. But you know, in reality, when you're older, when you look at it now, you just see the severity of it all. You know what I mean? And that was just one side. There was about 20 knives. I don't know over talking it. And you just got to think, you know, what the other side had. And then if it did happen, you know, and people did get hurt, it would have just escalated and gone bigger. And you know, for the next week or two, there was riot squad at that station. No one was allowed at that station. Like you could go past and go over the bridge and this and that, but you couldn't stand around there for a group of people. You know what I mean? Or else you would get, you know, hit up from the boys in blue. But yeah. I feel within Sydney it's gotten better, like drastically better. I even look at the statistics, looked at, you know, news articles, it's gone good. It just reignited, you know, a few years ago. But yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be, but it still can be very bad if you want to be a part. of it. For me, I feel if you don't want to be involved or you're not involved, generally you don't have nothing to worry about. But yeah, like I said, if the energy you put out in the world, you know what I mean, or what you want to portray, or you know, if you want to get involved in this and that, you got to expect certain things come your way that comes with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll just get back straight into the music. Oh yeah, that. So that's what I really wanted to talk about too. So when I kept listening to it, then I heard that, and I was like, oh wait, I remember that. So if no one knows what this is. So he says, we've been through this shit since Who Got You Running. Now a lot of people from Western Sydney wouldn't know what that is, and a lot of people from Western Sydney now wouldn't know what that is, only because the majority of the people that probably look at this are like under 20, you know what I mean? But I want to go back to one of their old songs, and it's called Who's Got You Running. Fuck, I reckon this is better. To be honest, I reckon this is like a G. I love this song, man. This is not bad.
This mixtape is from the boys in the area. BK, CFC, G-Boy. Who's got you running? D's got you running. Who's got you running? TLC's got you running. You see me playing games and you playing with your locks in. You know, shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife. Bitch, who's got you running? Who's got you running? Who's got you running?
Anyways, you can go check that out. That's called Who's Got You Running, Guildford, Maryland. I might put it up, I don't know. But yeah, it just, so that came out like 8 years ago. So, you know, it just reiterates what I was saying before. This has been going back and forth for a while, you know what I mean? And yeah. So that's like another thing I picked up on, and I love the reference, you know what I mean? So my understanding of it all, majority of the artists within this particular song are older than the Onefour boys. So I think they're like a generation older, like maybe mid to late 20s. So that's why it comes with a lot of the references, like we've been through this, we've been through it all, you know what I mean? We were here before you, we done, you know what I mean? And he talks about later on, like, you wouldn't know about it because you were just like you said, you were just a knee high on the curb, you know, where we were doing what you were doing back then a long time ago. So you know what I mean? Yeah. I love all the Western Sydney lingo, the gronks, flops, dogs, yeah, shit. I like all of that, all the pig Latin. You know, that's why I wanted to do this as well, because I had to step back and take myself, you know, out of choosing the areas or choosing the groups, and I had to look at it as a Western Sydney in general, you know what I mean? And I like the fact, besides the negatives, or like I said before, showing the positives, that they are showcasing the reality, or a particular reality, you know what I mean, of Sydney culture, or, you know, a type of culture within Sydney, from the lingo, the dress code, to stories, to, you know, historical events, and not, you know what I mean, like events that happened in the past, and how it's affected certain people, and, you know, changed the culture, or impacted certain groups, and just, you know what I mean, how it all intertwined, and how it all plays a part in the role of all this, you know, from the dress and all that. But yeah, we'll just continue. Oh, I like that line too, like free fuck. I know a lot of so there's like two mindsets in relation to, in my opinion, to that line. So you have your islanders where they don't like this, they don't like all this gang culture, they don't like, you know, repping colours or areas, they don't like all this criminal stuff. And if you had that type of mindset, or islander here, and you had another gang islander here, and they first met each other, and this guy started talking about, you know, I've been in here, done that. This guy, in my mind, in my experiences, he wouldn't say it, but in his head it'd be like, he doesn't give a fuck that you've been inside for this and that. It's why? Because this mindset of an islander thinks that's very stupid. And, you know, there's better things in life than robbing someone. You know, for what, $1,000, $500, you can get a job and get that in a week. But yet, you rob someone, and the risks you're taking, you know, you can get a jail for 2 years, you can get retaliation on yourself, you know, or for what? For, you know, money, or it can be, you didn't do it for the money, you just did it because, you know, the respect, or you wanted to earn your stripes, you know what I mean? But yeah, so there's that mindset where they don't like all this type of lifestyle. And then there's another mindset that is a part of the lifestyle where they don't care, because who gives a shit, everyone, you know what I mean? Or what, you rob someone, now you think you're the hardest cunt in the world. It's like, you know what I mean? If everyone's a robber and everyone's solid on this side, they don't care that you've done it, because it's the norm. So it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? Everyone's got someone inside when you're on this side. So that's how I was looking at it, on those two mindsets. And I think this artist in particular, he's on this type of mindset. Like, he's got a lot of people that are inside. He's probably done a lot of things, you know what I mean? He doesn't care that you've been inside, or he doesn't care that you know people inside. That's great. You know, that's how I view this line. And that's why I like it too, because I feel like I've met these people a lot, and I've met these people a lot. You know, I've even met them at the same time. This guy will go away, and then this group of boys will be like, this cunt thinks he's a hard cunt because he went to jail for 2 years, or, you know what I mean, because he's got a record. Fucking flop, bro, I'll fucking feed him, you know what I mean? They don't like, you know, it's best if you've been inside, don't use it like, yeah, I've been inside, bro, blah, blah. Trust, it's never gonna work out good for you. Oh yeah, see, there's another frame. I feel like this guy's like explaining to the big boss, like, oh, this is what we're doing, this is what we're trying to do, you know, yeah, it's just pretty much trying to tell the police their message they want to portray, what they're trying to do, the positiveness it can bring, you know, bringing, like I said before, the sense of belonging, unity, bringing the area together, making an anthem, you know what I mean? And also you could say showcasing this and that. And at the same time, for me, even though what they're saying is not necessarily something the police or a government you would expect to support, but the more time they do spend making music, do shoot these videos, is less time theoretically they're actually doing what they're saying, you know what I mean? Or they have time to do it. And also, the more the more, you know what I mean, the bigger they get, and the more money they get, the more opportunities they get. Let's say they're less likely to commit these things. Why? Because they got more to lose than they did before. Let's say a lot of these guys don't have anything, generally speaking, you know. Then now they have opportunities to do gigs, to go across the world, you know, this, that, and the other, money and etc., fame, the glory, and then what? They don't want to give it up because someone said something they didn't like, you know what I mean? This, that, and the other, for ego reasons, yeah. Like what I'm talking about is there are negatives, but there are positives as well with this music, and I feel like that's what that guy was, you know, could have been saying, or he could have been saying, you know, we're just shooting a video clip, blah blah blah, but yeah.
Onefour, take all cause I run that 4. 3, 2, 1, now let's review. When I knock on doors, let's see who's real.
I like how that came through that the run a straight challenge. I feel like that's also impacted the culture with that run the ball. Like even before that run a straight challenge, run the ball, when you're growing up, that's what everyone should say in West, you know. I'm pretty sure they said it even in New Zealand area, like run a straight lad or run it, you know, that's that straight. You're calling someone out to run it and see what you really got, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's pretty much calling them out for a fight, but football, you know, it's just straight, run a straight. Oh yeah, also if you want to get more in depth with that run it straight, when you do offer someone out to run a straight or run it, you don't rely on anybody else. It's like everyone knows it's just a straight 1-on-1. So how I get when a lot of people do say I run the ball or they can run the ball, it's, you know, I'm not relying on anyone else but me. I'll do it myself. I'll do what I say, or come you run it and I'll take you on myself. I'm not gonna rely on my uso, my toko, none. You know, that's why I like that line too, because, you know, I don't like I know a lot of people can relate. I don't like people, they act a certain type of way in a group setting, or, you know, but then without their group, they're a different person. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can understand what I'm getting at. So that's why I like that. I like the people that, when they're in the group, they're one way, and when they're by themselves, they're one way. And what I mean by one way is they're the same. You know what I mean? You get the same person when they're with their 20 boys, and you get the same person if they're with by themselves. So that's what I like about that. And I think that line in of itself just supports that mindset or theory. I gotta say, this guy's line's pretty catchy. Like those 2 lines you pretty much said. Oh, we gotta listen to it again. I like that. Sydney's realist, who them? I want to know though, because I never really heard any of the boys from in Greater West in you know, the Boneyard or in Protection. So like, if you do know, I've heard of one particular person. Like I've heard various like viewpoints on it, like oh no, this has happened, this really happened. But I mean, in my opinion, it was the smartest move if it was true, like from a particular angle, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what they do rap about, like being solid 100, but I mean, you just got to bring it to reality. If you're one person and you go inside and you go into a particular pod, so a pod is like different, like, so they try to isolate, they don't try and make the whole prisons as one. You want to isolate, like say 150 people will be in this pod, or 100 people, and they don't interact generally, you know what I mean? Why? Because if you have 1,000 criminals interact with each other, you could have 100 criminals all together, and the next thing you know, holy shit, you got a fucking massive group, you know. Whereas if you try to isolate everyone, the max theoretically they can get to is 150 strong. But yeah, say if you're going into a pod, even if it's 80, and you know that pod is run by a particular group, particular area, particular set, that's your enemies, or that you don't get along with, or that you know they have it out for you, it's just smarter to leave that pod and go to another one. Now, in my understanding, the only way to do that is if you go and ask, you know, tell them that you do fear for your life, or you know, you fear for your safety, and that this is going to happen because of this and that, and then they'll move you. And then that's what my understanding is, that, you know, you go into Protection or you go into a different pod, and then they call you, you know, the pussy. But you know, I can understand from both sides how you're going to be saying you're solid, you stand firm, you have your ground, you know, you rep this and that to the end, but then when it comes down to it, you know, you call for help to the government when you say fuck the police, or, you know, so I get it. But then at the same time, it's like, all right, he can be hard, he can go in next morning, he ends up with a lot of holes in his body. It's like, you know, what's the win-win? You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're trying to look at longevity to like live your life, you know, it's like, all right, he's solid, but now he's dead. But now, you know, it's like, oh yeah, he was solid, but it's like, you're dead now, it doesn't matter, bro. So, you know, it's just hard to try to get in the mindset of a lot of these people that have been through these things. And it's just hard because a lot of us have never been through what they've been through, never experienced what they've experienced. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Did you say trench? Is Ahmed talking about inch trench? Did you say you haven't told them trench still took that district and something? I don't know. Wait, go back one more time. We say drop that bitch right through my fence, or punch that bitch with my fist. I don't know, but how do I say this? So, in my understanding, Trench is a person from Greater Western Sydney, and I've heard, I don't know the person, but I've heard just a lot of stories. You know, everyone's opinions about him. But in my opinion, from what I've heard, whether or not it's true, and even this guy says that whether or not it is the same person, you got to give props to old mate, because I've heard old mate's been jumped a lot of times to the Trench character. You know, there's always like 2 or 3 or 4 of them on like 8 or 10. Now I got to give props, bro. To me, I don't care if you win or lose. If you hold your ground, you stand strong in another area, outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned. To me, that's what it's about. Not you, you know what I mean? You can't, yeah. That's what, to me, what really counts. You know, if you have the numbers and you got the size and you know these are the better fighters and it's in your area and you drill them, that's one thing. But if you're in their area or in a different area and you're outmanned, you're outgunned, you're outmatched, you know what I mean? You're caught off guard, then that's a whole different mindset to me. You know, and you still stand, you still bang. That's respect. A lot of people be like, oh, he got wrecked, he got blah, blah, blah. But it's like, how many people have experienced that or been through that? You know what I mean? Or what would you know what I mean? It's like, a lot of people cannot relate because they've never been there. Or never, you know, just is what it is. I gotta respect both sides, but yeah, to me, I like that more. That's that 300s type shit, you know what I mean? You know, that 300 Spartans versus what, 1 million Persians, you know? Fuck. They lost, but fucking hell, they lost, you know? They stood their ground, bro. They held strong. This one's pretty bad too. Been dropping flops since 15, eh? I like that Tongan. Oh, see, I only just realised now. Before, I thought that Tongan shield was on the actual car, as in it was like a paint job, but I just realised it was the flag. But anyway, if it was on the car, it would have been bad.
He bought someone's on missing that. He's getting sick. Turn away in the weapon area. Be running lost in the grave and starting a whole lot from the package. Get caught in the act lines. How many times you get it done and drop your ass free to the test and smash your money, bitch. That rap shit, the boys are back. Tell me shit, they never.
I like that. That rap shit, they better back it. So, you know, like I said in a lot of my other reactions, why I feel like a lot of these particular groups blow up is because a lot of the people from these areas can validate what they've been talking about, you know what I mean? And he's pretty much saying, and I feel like it's not even just to Greater Western side, it's just a lot of sides, you know? Back what you say. You can talk the talk, but don't, what is it? But don't fold, I like that word, don't fold yourself.
If you talk the talk, then walk the walk, don't fold yourself.
Or if you talk the talk, then walk the walk, don't fold yourself. I like that, don't fold yourself. Keep that same energy also.
You must keep my day, I like to keep yourself. 100% you deep yourself. After the time you fight, you just to manufacture your heart. These clips talk about all these facts, but you ain't about that life. My young is weird and come up. I've been bringing that speed, talking up, so I ain't afraid of that hammer. I'm stepping away, my dog was hoping out.
Ain't afraid of that hammer. Is that another reference to Hammer Time? I think all the boys know what I'm talking about, all the youngins. That's ugly, that video. Oh, bro, I got a sore forehead, bro. But yeah. What does he say again? I'm not afraid of that hammer, guy. So it just reiterates what I was saying before with all these references to that side and incorporating it into this song and giving, you know, bringing it in, reminding the audience of what was said or what happened, and then doing your reply to it.
One day we have to gut up. These kids moving get bangers. That's when I make that first, that piece of beat, they all got bangers. Bring my team, make it jump in and out of my
Anguish, well, this guy's got a dictionary. Look at this guy's knuckles, massive ass.
ain't nothing to stop us, my aims are focused. These guys they hocus pocus. They came there off my dangerous muscle.
Something with big words, hocus pocus, what he's feeling. I like that emblem at the back. What does it say? No face, no case or something? That's pretty bad. Whoever made that.
It's not really a purpose. I'm living my life to the fullest, taking the bullet, going the furthest. 6'1" with the heart, she going on it like a baby. Now watching me, tell me you want it, tell me who's asking. We talking business, you know the young kid. Fingers is out of the game. People even worry, remember the name. We came to the game, we don't know what's safe. It's all my place, it's energy change.
I like that. He talked that talk or some shit and then he's seen our face and his energy changed. Oh man, if that happens, then that's why. You gotta really think about the things you do, because you know what I mean. There are consequences to how you carry yourself and the things you say. You know, and what I'm talking about is like online. You know, a lot of people that don't really understand this life, they think they're untouchable, or you know, it's never gonna happen. But that one time you're in the wrong place, and one of these people, and I'm not talking about these particular people, but these kind of people catch you, and you talked about these kind of people as in, you know, you talked about either Greater West or Southwest or Inner West, you know, or not even just off Sydney, like different groups. You know, just be prepared, just understand. Like, no for a fact they're pussies. I know a lot of people were saying in the comments on other ones that like the boys were disrespecting the flag, the Samoan flag, because it's in reverse. And like, because generally the main artists at the moment with Onefour Samoans, but to me, nah, that's not how it is. I'm pretty sure the boys are just in the moment, energy, they're looking at the camera, they're looking in the direction, the boys are just holding the flag, and it just so happens to be the other way around. Reality is 50-50, it's gonna be the wrong way around, you know. So who's gonna be looking down like, oh, the flag's wrong way? Everyone's looking that way, everyone's bumping, everyone's having a little swig, this, that. My understanding, there is a lot of people who are Samoan from in the West, Tongans, Fijians. Pretty sure there's Turkish in this, because I've seen the Turkish flag. You know, Lebanese. You know, if you're not from Sydney, Sydney's very multicultural. A lot of, like, to me, the boys are most how would I say? What is it called? Racial. Oh, they don't discriminate when it comes to race. What's the fucking word? They're not racist, fucking hell. Even if you go look at Onefour's videos, they got white boys, they got islanders, they got people that look Asian, they got Sudanese, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they have Abos in there too. Aboriginals, I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way. They have Aboriginals, so you know what I mean? And just like in this video, they've got, you know, all the different types of Pacific Islanders, the main ones, Tongan, Fijian, Samoan. Then you got boys that look like Middle Eastern, so they're probably Turkish, Lebanese, you know what I mean? So, like I read this article, it doesn't really matter what your ethnic background is. When it comes to Greater West Sydney or Western Sydney in general, it just comes down to the area where you come from and whether you back that side, you know? And also, to me, it comes with that mindset in the heart. You know, of having the boys back, standing strong, standing firm. The boys can respect the type of person you are, how you carry yourself, then you're one of the boys pretty much, you know what I mean? Carry that same particular type of energy. And what I mean by energy is you carry yourself a particular way, not pussy.
The music, we're one of the least improved. It's old school, one of the latest dudes. Pull it up in the van, run it up to me straight for the man. Stepped up, gonna push it on the gram.
Did he say bellied up, running straight to the man?
Latest dudes, pull it up in the van, run it up to me straight for the man.
Oh, pulling up in a van, bellied up, running straight for the man. Hey, it's pretty articulate. Eh?
Stepped up, gonna push it on the gram. Stacked up when I got 10 bands, I'm doing no trees. Doing work on the trees, they never done a dream like trees. They ain't packing nothing. I've been running in the streets with me now.
Fucking rap, bro.
What you know about me? What you know about moving that pack? What you know about cracking it back? What you know about making that trip with the feet on the map to the narrow map to the cruising?
Haha, what you know? Well, I just got that reference that put that pin on that map, like mark your location. Oh shit, I only just clicked because this is really the actual time that I actually like. I've been recording for probably half an hour now. I've actually like, tried to walk through each frame, but that line though. Put that pin on that map, mark your location pretty much, you know, like I'm here but I'll come down, let's go. Shit. 4 times 10, that's the G48. Hey, 21 district. Let's go. One by one. Fucking earth. So that was 21 district, the reply. This is probably gonna be the longest video, but yeah, you know what I mean. I try to make myself more unique. Like, and it's not even me trying to make myself more unique. This is the reason why I started doing reactions, because I really just wanted to add to the culture in terms of adding more information, breaking down certain things, you know, talking about backstories, and just doing the psychology behind it, you know what I mean? Different viewpoints and mindsets to it, like how these particular people got to where they are, or how the beef manifested, you know what I mean? Just everything. But it's also like, could be educational, or I do think it is educational for the younger generation, as in, you know, just stepping back and really having a look at these particular people, not even them, just where they are, how they got to where they are, what comes with where they are. So what I'm talking about is the repercussions, what I was talking about before. And just, I know the younger people won't really do it, but you know, just really understanding what comes with all of this, the consequences, you know, the longevity of this particular, living this type of way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Generally, they don't really click. Like, I didn't really click till I was a bit older, you know, where I was past these years. But it's, yeah, it can be dire consequences, you know. But yeah, shout out to everyone from Inner West. You know, this 21 district's pretty new, like that name of the boys. But before they were just called Inner West, you know what I mean. So shout out to everyone from Inner West or 21 district, or you know, G Field. Guildford, Marylands, where fucking Granville, what else is there, you know, Auburn, all of them, you know what I mean. Shout out to all outside, you know, besides the beef and the feud. Hopefully I kept this as unbiased as possible. You know, I try to step back and shout out to all of just Western Sydney in general, you know, all the positives that you can look at this, that you could take away. Obviously there's a lot of negatives associated with all this type of lifestyle and portrayal of certain things. But yeah, you know what I mean. Shout out to all those that, how would I say, you know, making music, showcasing this and that, giving the area an anthem, also, you know, uniting the area, how would I say, you know, being a role model for the younger boys. And now I'm not talking about that type of role model. What I mean is, like, you know, looking out for them. So you can't argue the fact that these particular people do, in a way. He even says that he's like, I'm backing my youngins. So, you know, they do they do look after the younger generation in a type of way, protection from other areas that might be looking to harm at them, even though they may not agree how it came about. When push comes to shove, they're just gonna back their G's, just like Onefour said they're gonna back there. You know, it is what it is. So, you know, they created that sense of belonging, identity, You know, they've created, like now, that song's gonna be blasting everywhere for a while. That's gonna be the anthem for a lot of different areas within Western Sydney. Like I said, Granville, Guildford, Marylands, all those areas, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's what it's, like I said before as well, I've seen a video clip or Snapchat, I think, or Instagram story of like at a party, everyone's going off. And from that party, like I said, you can see all the different ethnic backgrounds. You know, you can see Africans or Sudanese to be more precise. You can see Islanders, you can see Middle Eastern people, you know, most likely Turkish or Sudanese. So, you know, it brings everyone together and there ain't no color. Like, obviously there is, but it ain't about that. It's literally where you're from, you know, and then it adds into the more deeper, wouldn't say issues, but deeper underlying things that add to it. Particular lifestyles, how you live, how you carry yourself, certain things you've gone through your life, you know what I mean? All of that just all accumulates to create this overall. But yeah, you know what I mean? Shout out to the boys from 21 District, Innerwest. Shout out to all these artists, you know what I mean? Hopefully they can, I know things have happened where it's hard to just walk away from this all and like, you know, put water under the bridge. Like, yeah, I would say there's only one particular thing where it's like hard to just swipe it off the slate, you know what I mean? Don't really talk about, but yeah. What I mean is like, hopefully they can get everything off their chest from both sides or all sides. And then they can actually look at this as like a business or a career path. And then help the next generation come through to be artists or creators, you know what I mean? Or just help them get through, in my opinion, that crucial time of a young person's life, you know, like 15 to like 17. So when they're pretty real reckless, you know what I mean? They don't really care about tomorrow. It's like, I'm talking about a small few of people that think like this. It's like, you know, they're having a bad home, and then it's not working too well at school, so they're finding themselves, and they find a group of people where they can relate to, bond, you know, that might understand them in a particular type of way. And then they do certain things to fit in or to, you know, feel more with the group, or maybe because the group is doing it and they feel like this is their strongest connection to a group, that they need to do what this group is doing, you know what I mean? It's like all of that. And what I mean is like, it's a lot, when you're older, you wouldn't do it because it's high risky stuff and you know the consequences and you know it's just not worth it generally. But when you're younger, it's like, your mindset, you're not thinking that far ahead, you're just thinking about now. And also, even if you did think, because I did think it, you don't really care because, you know what I mean, this and that, a lot of things. But yeah, shout out to all the boys. New anthem for inner Western Sydney, or inner Sydney, you know, it is inner, yeah, inner West. Fuck, how long have you seen me? I've been sitting almost like 50 minutes, bro. Fuck. Hopefully I did this justice, you know what I mean? Yeah, the beef. Too much drama, but it is what it is. Go check them out, go hit them up, this, that and the other. Subscribe, share, like, this, that and the other. Leave some comments in the bottom. What did you think? You know, I know a lot of people don't like these long ass reactions. But like I said, you know, I just like to break down things and look more in depth into it, to the lyrics, the visuals, the backstories, just everything, you know what I mean? This is more for people that aren't from the area, like wider, but at the same time, it is for the people that actually was about this, to just give them a, if they haven't thought about it more deep, in general, that they can think about. And also it can be for those younger ones coming through the ranks that don't think about it like that far ahead, because obviously they haven't been through a lot, like they haven't been through it all of their phases. But it's hard because I know the younger people just don't really care. They don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? You're an old head. You're yeah. Let's go.
This mixtape is from the boys in the area. BK, CLC, G40.
Who's Who's got you running?
Blood Kings got you running.
Who's got you running?
TLC's got you running.
Sick of playing games and you playing with your life. So if we don't shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife, bitch. Who's got you running?
LL's got you running.
Who's got you running?
G40's got you running.
Sick of playing games and you playing with your life. So if you don't shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife, bitch.
Knock, knock, open up the door, it's us. The motherfucking Blood Kings ready to bust. Looking from Mountain County, better get out the way. Gonna be if the blood spilled at the end of the day. It's not the friends, the back, while we attack, we got the upper hand. Just be careful, bring a credible force that you won't understand. So we'll fight to retreat or be a bloodbath. Trust me, motherfuckers, we the ones having the last laugh. Can't get put up, won't you let your lesson already. Guys in hospital, sliced up by my best machete. Remember last September when these came down here? After I rumbled in the jungle, you ran away from me. And LFT, my area is a local zone. The kids from Tumbling High Sea get the Easter show. Not the one knows who the real bitches are. So run, motherfucker, cause you won't get fun.
Who's got you running?
Blood Kings got you running.
Who's got you running?
TLC's got you running.
You sick of playing games and you playing with your life. So if you don't shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife, bitch. Who's got you running?
LL's got you running.
Who's got you running?
G40's got you running.
Sick of playing games and you playing with your life. So if you don't shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife, bitch. Walking my shoes, I raise the roof over county fools. I'm living proof, the truth when I be running loose. I'm making moves so slick, you stepping over quick. Sicker than medicine, bitch, go be the fat dick. Though I don't know these dopes, but I was told when it's time to put the blows. Any motherfucking bang goes. The G thang, yo, still orbit. Rolling like a ghetto star, this is how we walk it. Falling angel straight out of heaven to the gutter. Baptized in liquor, send a shiver to your weak liver. Better believe when I see GG, I'm a creep. I'm banging habits to your dick, licking bags bleed. Your amateur rappers is whack, step back, smack with pimps like BK's on the fucking track. And that's that, knew you wouldn't understand. In the West, still thugging, bitch, take it like a man. Who's got you running?
Blood Kings got you running.
Who's got you running?
TLC's got you running.
Sick of playing games and you playing with your life. So if you don't shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife, bitch. Who's got you running?
LL's got you running.
Who's got you running?
G40's got you running.
Sick of playing games and you playing with your life. So if you don't shut your mouth, then we end it with a knife, bitch.
Get out the way, Blood Kings, Polo's coming through. What you gonna do when the boys come for you? 2144 with our Glocks and our 22. So get smart, cause we rip you apart. We other boys you know are known as BK. Fuck the police, man, through with a gang rape. And then let's see you pick the bag and out of this. All your lives will come against you, toughest tiny dick. Running away every time we go to war. Open the door, dropping dead bodies to the floor, bitch. Yeah, motherfuckers. There's a gun up and there's man dogs. Yeah, it's for the boys in the area. Maryland, Auburn, local lunatics. Shamble. Fuck you, Mountain County dogs. G40, this goes the same. Some on knees, the boys inside, knee dogs. Rock the sharp in your mouth, air shy boys. Easy. Fuck you, son, Dunlop. Little baggage, GG, NFT, fuckheads, and shy boys. Take care.